When it comes to Romelu Lukaku, incredibly disrespected player, but a future at Chelsea, it's not going to happen. Confirmed by Fabrizio Romano. And more importantly, Chelsea are going after a number 6 and a striker. And I've got the news for you. Oh yeah, and Salina, he's putting Kepa and Mendy to shame. Let's get in. Welcome to the Kavkas View, and like I said in the running order, it's going to be a jam-packed video. It's going to be informative and you are going to enjoy it because the stories today are ones where we can dig in deep and get into the little nuts and bolts and the details. There are lots of sources coming out with names, and our summer transfer window is basically going to be defined by this video. It's interesting, it's collaborative, and you will enjoy it. So do me a favor, hit the like button because it goes a massive long way. You guys hitting the like button pushes YouTube to send it to more people. Number 2, subscribe to the channel. And number 3, in the pinned comment below is my Instagram. Go and follow me there. Reach out in the DMs asking about football related questions and I'm happy to respond. But now let's move. Big Fabrizio Romano has come out with some really interesting. The news he's come out with is that Chelsea are looking at 2 positions, and it was very specific, almost as if he was briefed by the club. They are looking for a number 6 and a number 9. Chelsea are looking for an individual that's going to score goals, like I said in a video 2 days ago about Victor Osimhen. That's the guy that they want. And number 2, they're looking for a 6. And the 6, we're going to go into the profiles that are being linked with the club. But one thing we need to get for certain, Romelu Lukaku does not have a future at Chelsea football. The club is done with him. They don't want him back. They're going to loan him out or they're going to sell him if possible. And this is something that is phenomenal news for Chelsea fans because, look, we've already had Romelu Lukaku part 1, part 2, and part 2 ended horribly. He doesn't want to play for Chelsea. Chelsea don't want him to play for him. It's best for all parties where we go separate directions. It's best for him and his career if he doesn't come back and plays for Chelsea. Because no matter what Lukaku does, he can go on and score 30 goals, then go on a barren run where he doesn't score in 5 games. People are still going to be saying, it's classic Lukaku. Lukaku's career will always be tainted by his negatives, purely because no one rates him. When you look at his numbers, statistically, it's phenomenal. But when you actually dive into the minor details, Lukaku's career is not one of a world-class striker. It's one of a good/great striker. So you have to respect him for that, but you're never going to put him on the table that he wants to belong at. And that's the sad truth. All right, so time to give you guys a 4-1-1 when it comes down to the midfield and who Chelsea are going to be potentially going after. Because this is something that is becoming very, very polarizing. We're getting different names on a regular basis, but today we got some nice concrete information. TalkSport's Alex Crooks came out with Joe Shields, who worked at Southampton and prior to that worked at Manchester City, is heavily driving the fact that Chelsea should go get Romeo Lavia. Romeo Lavia joined Southampton last summer, and now that Southampton are going to be going down, potentially, Chelsea believe they could get him on a nice 40 to 50 million pound deal. They genuinely believe this kid's got enough potential to come in and be a starter at Chelsea Football Club from the outset. Joe Shields is heavily driving this. Chelsea tried to acquire him after they stole Joe Shields from Southampton in the summer. They tried to get him in the same window that my man joined Southampton. Doesn't work. Southampton rejected the bid. And now Chelsea are eagerly trying to go and secure this move. This is a great signing if Chelsea didn't secure it. Because the kid is basically old school 8. He can go forward, he can defend, he can literally do everything to a very good standard. Very good on the ball, dynamic, receives the ball and drives it forward with his athleticism, high IQ, high penetrative player. For me, if we could get any midfielder this summer, it would be either him or Caicedo. I'm not even exaggerating. Number 2, we're linked with the Borussia Mönchengladbach Kone. Kone is an individual that is being heavily touted, and I think he's got 12 months left on his deal because the rumors are he's available for 25 million euros, but his club have come out and said no, they'd want somewhere north or close to 45 million. PSG and Chelsea are sniffing around. There's other clubs that are actively trying to pursue the player and try to secure the player at this moment in time. Very similar profile to Lavia, someone that Chelsea apparently believe that they can go and potentially secure as well as Lavia. So it wouldn't just be one or the other, it could be both. And this is very interesting because Chelsea evidently believe they've got a midfield issue. And with the acquisition of Enzo Fernandez, they want to partner him with players that are mobile, players that are good in a challenge, but at the same time carry the ball well, just to give us a little bit more dynamism in that midfield, to give us that element of physicality that will enable us to win crunching battles, to win and dominate physically in midfield. And two players that can actually pick up the ball and play ball to complement Enzo Fernandez. For me, this sounds very good. We were also linked with the casual Declan Rice one today, where it came down from Sky Sports that, look, Chelsea are still hot and interested in Declan Rice. It's going to happen as long as Chelsea put the money forward. Guys, I'm going to give you the reality of Declan Rice. The harsh truth for Declan Rice is very simple. The move to Chelsea is going to, and the reason it's going to fail now is because he's been priced out. He has been priced out of a move to Chelsea. The reason being is Enzo Fernandez moved for 125 million euros. Caicedo is going to move for 90 million pounds. And West Ham believe that Declan Rice is in the same category of player as these. So when they believe that, they're not going to want to sell the individual for anything less than that allocated fee. I don't see Chelsea or any other club in Europe paying 120 million pounds for Declan Rice. Declan Rice at best is a 50 to 60 million pound player, and that's purely based on English premium as well as a very good foundation where he can become a great centre-half one day. That's my personal opinion, don't shoot me. I keep hearing these rumours that Chelsea are hot and interested in the club. I'm just going to put it this way. Why is it when we were very interested in Mikhailo Mudryk, we got it done in a few days? When we were interested in Enzo Fernandez, we got it done in one transfer window. We were interested in Wesley Fofana, we got it done straight away. When we were interested in numerous players this year, since Bowley has come in, we've signed 11 players, maybe even more if I'm not mistaken. Declan Rice is not one of them. Why did we not go and try to acquire Declan? Because the interest is just that. It's interest. There is no concrete pursuing of this player. I know a lot of you rate the player. I know a lot of you want him because you want the fascination of him and Mount in one team. It's not going to happen. And if it does, I will be shocked. But like I always say, when there's players coming in, players need to leave. And two players that are potentially on their way out. Number one is Mateo Kovacic. There are rumours coming out that the club is actively trying to get Kovacic to re-sign. And if he re-signs, one midfielder will not be coming in. And so either Kone or Lavia would not be coming in on Rice because they'd only go and sign one player. It can't be both. So Kovacic's deal is an interesting one. There's a lot of clubs chasing him. Manchester City want him. A lot of clubs in Italy. There are rumours that some clubs in Spain are inquiring. But at this moment in time, that's all it is. It's just a bunch of rumours and clubs touting and sticking their nose in like, yeah, we'd be interested. Yeah, we'd be interested. Yeah, we'd be interested. But at this moment in time, no one's concretely going and bidding. For me, realistically speaking, he's too good of a player to let go. If we can re-sign him, he's going into the prime of his career. Enzo, Kante, Kovacic, Lavia or Kone with Ruben Loftus-Cheek, I like that. I really do. If you bring him back Santos, maybe then you don't need a Ruben Loftus-Cheek. But it's just one of those things where I think you need to make this work. The numbers game has to work. Another one, Zakaria. Zakaria is going back to Juve. Chelsea had no intention of getting this deal on a permit. Look, Chelsea evidently showed that if they wanted to buy a player, they would have done last summer. They financially can afford it. January proves it. That's why they loaned him in. That's why there was such a 28 million euro fee placed on his head. This guy will not be re-signing for Chelsea. And the reality is, he's not good enough for Chelsea. A lot of people are like, oh, Zakaria is really good. Zakaria is not good. Zakaria is a standard player that, in my opinion, was thriving off the fact that Chelsea had a few injuries and people had an agenda against Jorginho where they just didn't rate him. So anything that's the opposite of Jorginho, they would rate. So anyone that can run around, get stuck in, win a couple challenges, carry the ball with pace and power, carry the ball into tight areas. The problem was then, Zakaria doesn't have the technical quality to play for a top six side. He's not good enough on the ball. And the reality is, if you're not good enough on the ball, you're not good enough for Chelsea. This is my problem. People want him to be something he's not. And it's not his fault. And another reason, he's injury prone. Guys, he didn't play for 4 months. Started playing a couple games, got injured. He is injury prone. We cannot depend on him, and there's no point signing a player only for him to get injured. For me, send him back to Juve, let him resurrect his career somewhere else. Apparently Besiktas and Fenerbahce are interested. Maybe that's the move for him. Finally, we need to get into the keepers debate. The keeper debate is one that's very interesting because, look, we already know that Edouard Mendy is linked to leave the club, right? Edouard Mendy's tenure at Chelsea has been super interesting because Edu came in and it was almost like a fairy tale Cinderella script. Edu was not a footballer until I think 23. Then all of a sudden he had a 4-year rise and then makes a move to Chelsea, comes in, little bit of a shaky start because I remember his debut against Spurs didn't look the most convincing, but after that it went stride for stride. Tuchel comes in and all of a sudden Edu's going to become one of the best keepers in the world. Like, he's starting to win trophies. #1 keeper in the world for UEFA, Champions League winner, Club World Cup, Super Cup. Edu's climb to the top was so quick, but the thing is, it was form. And this is the sad reality that people aren't going to understand. Form is temporary, past is permanent, right? People always say that. And for me, we saw what Edouard Mendy was at his peak. The reality is that's not Edu. Like, that's really not Edu. And he's not good enough for Chelsea on the ball. Whilst he's a fantastic collector of crosses, I think he's a bit shaky when it comes to saving shots. I really do. I think he just gets it, something onto it, doesn't care where it goes, doesn't direct it out. I also think with his feet, he just is a liability. People aren't going to like that I'm saying that. He is a liability. For me, what's best is for him to go somewhere and secure a great deal where he's going to get paid a lot of money and set himself and his family up for generational wealth. He needs to go. His next contract needs to be massive. He hasn't had the opportunity to have the 19 to 23 contract, the 23 to 25, 27 contract, and then this final one. He's essentially getting his big contract now. I think Edu is on 20, 30K right now. He wants somewhere close to 150, 140. Chelsea aren't going to give him that. Chelsea are offering 60, I think, or 70. That is just, it's not going to cut it for him. Like, he needs to make more money than that. And I respect him, and I'm really grateful. It's like the Cinderella story. That's literally what I'm going to say. We got Solina coming in as well, that came in on loan. We bought from America. And he's been absolutely amazing in the sense that he's been phenomenal, like, with his work ethic. Like, he's impressing people at Cobham. He's actively becoming an individual that's standing out at this moment in time. Like, apparently he's always in around about 7, and one of the last to leave. He's going to bed at 10. He's just got a work rate and a work ethic that is really catching the imagination of the individuals and the coaches. They're seeing this guy wants to be a professional footballer. And I love to hear stories like that. They haven't decided whether he's going to go on loan next year. And for me, it's very simple. This is what we do. We do the Courtois blueprint. Send him on loan for 2 to 3 years. Out of sight, out of mind. Go to a team where you're going to be playing. You're expected to play out of the back with your feet. Develop him. He comes back. He's 22. You need to do that. He should not be rotting away on a bench, waiting for Kepa to make mistakes, waiting for the new keeper to make mistakes. He should not be Chelsea's #1 at age 19. He's not ready. He needs to go and prove himself. You earn a position at Chelsea. Nothing is handed to you. That's all I have for today, guys. This was the Kavkas View. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Peace out. I'm out.